Good afternoon everyone, it's lovely to see so many people here. My name's Louise Scull, I'm the Director of International Programs at Woodcroft College in South Australia. So we're an IB World School, so we offer the diploma in IB, but we also offer the South Australian Certificate of Education. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how the different systems work in Australia. Please ask any questions as we go along if you don't understand anything. And please excuse me for only speaking English. So, the South Australian Certificate of Education would be quite similar to the certificates that you find in Victoria and New South Wales as well. So it's a two-stage certificate. So you have a stage 1, which is year 11, and stage 2, which is year 12. Subjects can be taken across the two stages. Students must receive at least a C grade to be able to pass. In year 11 they do a personal learning plan and 6 subjects. So the personal learning plan is looking at their lives, looking at their strengths, the things that they enjoy studying, and seeing where that can lead them to in university and what pathway they should take. In year 12 they do 4 subjects plus the research project. So it's a project, any choice of topic that they would like to do, and they're guided by teachers through to do that, and it's to get them to be doing independent research similar to what they would do at university. So the SACE, they do 200 credits, so 10 credits is 1 term of study. So they get the 200 credits with their 10 subjects, so 6 in year 11, 4 year 12, and taking that through. That will then be converted to an ATAR, Australian Tertiary Admissions Ranking. So the score that they get is converted into a ranking number out of 100 to go to university. So different courses and different universities will have different ranking requirements. So stage 2 is where the assessment heats up for getting that ATAR. So the stage 1 must be passed, but the stage 1 courses, year 11 courses, don't have an impact on the ATAR. Only the grades, they have to pass each subject, but the grades will change the ATAR. So 70% of the grade is from the schoolwork. So the essays, the research projects, the tests that they do during the term. So 70% of that their final mark comes from internal assessment. 30% comes from their final exams, and they only have 1 examination for each subject. Some subjects, quite a number of subjects, do not have an examination at all. So they will have a higher mark, a higher percentage comes from their internal assessment. So for students who don't enjoy exams, not that anyone enjoys exams, but for students who find exams very stressful, the SACE can be a really good option because it allows them to work consistently throughout the year and not have to perform in an exam because of the stresses there. So the grades are from an A+ to an E-, so students must achieve at least a C, and those marks are converted into a point score out of 15. So students choosing SACE, I say to students, if they really know where they want to go and they want to specialise in an area, say they want to go to university and study fashion design, then they can be choosing design and visual arts at school, and be building on a portfolio of work to take them through. If they know that they want to specialise in sciences, then they can do 3 sciences maybe. So if they know exactly where they're going, they are very good at doing school work and being consistent in class with their school work, then the SACE is a great option. It follows those 7 general capabilities, so they must have some level of literacy and numeracy. They must have IT capabilities. At Woodcroft, every student must have an iPad, and they do all of their schoolwork through the iPad. They send the work to their teachers. They have e-books. Parents actually can log on and get their results each day. They can find out if their child is at school each day. So the IT component is very important. So critical thinking, ethical understanding, all of those things have to be covered in each area of study. So it doesn't drop down to 4 subjects in Year 12, it is 6 subjects for the whole 2 years. Students do 3 subjects at a high level and 3 subjects at a standard level. So they choose their strongest subjects to do at a higher level. They do a course in the theory of knowledge, and students complain from day one that why do we have to do this, they don't understand it, the language is difficult. But by the end of that course, by the end of the 2 years, almost every student is saying that was brilliant, I loved it, it's really taught me how to think, how to argue, how to understand what I'm doing, and it's great preparation for university. They do an extended essay, so they write an essay of 4,000 words. At our school, because we teach Chinese, they can also do that in Chinese, and it can be any topic related to one subject that they are studying. So it's very, very broad in what they're able to do. And the IB is development of the whole person, so they also have to do creativity, activity and service. So they don't get any points for this, they don't get any marks at all, but they must do something creative, and they can do something artistic, or they can play a musical instrument, they can do cooking lessons, there's all sorts of things. They must do some sort of activity or sport, and they must give back to the community. So they have to do something voluntarily as service to the community. So you can see it's a lot more work, but it pays off in the end. So the points on the side there's 42 points for the subjects, 3 points for the theory of knowledge and the extended essay, so it's out of 45 points. It's the opposite in its grading to the SACE. So 75% of the final grade comes from the exams. So if you're a good student in exams, then it can be a fantastic way to get good marks. I had a wonderful Hong Kong student last year who didn't work particularly hard for a lot of the time, and lovely young man. He was expected to get about a 27 for the IB, and they have a study vacation of 3 weeks before the exams, and he came into school early, left late, did homework every night, and he just studied as hard as he could, and he ended up with a 35, which was a 95 for his ATAR, and he's now studying law at Adelaide University. So he was good at examinations, good under pressure, and it really worked out very well for him. The other 25% comes from the internal assessment. So all of Year 11, that work doesn't really count. They have an internal assessment, or an IA they call it, for each subject that they do in Year 12, and that gives the extra 25%. So it's a very, very different way of assessing to the SACE. So theory of knowledge, I've said it helps them to become thinkers. It's a very important preparation for university. And the universities love the students who've done the IB. one of the reasons is because of TOC. So that explains I've already gone through that, creativity, activity and service. Now this is the conversion of IB scores to the ATAR. Students that choose this course, but they have to be open-minded and hard-working and take on the opportunities. So I've had lots of students who have done the IB, they haven't been the top academic students, and they might have come in at, let's have a look back there, they might have come in at maybe a 28, 29, 30, but they're getting very good ATARs to go to good universities. So if they had done the SACE, they still might have been getting C's, the same sorts of grades for 4 subjects, but their ATAR would be down in the 50s and 60s. To term 3 of year 12 for the IB, so you know their final grades are going to come from term 3 of year 12 and the final examinations, whereas the SACE is graded right the way through. The SACE has 1 exam per subject. The IB can have up to 3 exams per subject. So it's a lot of testing and can be very stressful, but if they're good at examinations, it's a great way to go. And for university entry, you know, the IB is open to 4,000 universities, whereas with the SACE, if a student is wanting to change the country that they're studying, then they may need to sit extra entry examinations. So this is just an example of some of the subjects that we have at Woodcroft. So there's a wide variety going into a lot of different pathways with the SACE. So students wanting to go into hotel management, I would certainly not say to do the IB. You know, there are so many different pathways, and the IB certainly isn't for everybody. And if a student knows where they want to go, there's great opportunities through the SACE. That is the IB subjects there, and that's actually a Hong Kong student's artwork there too, so just a brilliant young man who did fantastic work.